Welcome to Zagreb, Lonely Planet's #1 destination in Europe for 2017. Also, the Advent in Zagreb has been named as the top destination in Europe for 2 years running. It's got a whole bunch of really interesting characters. I've met two guys tonight, Oleg and Sasha, who have quite an amazing story and quite an amazing project. Two Croats, one Tesla.
Exactly.
The Sahara Desert. You're starting in January.
Starting in January, on 12th of January, it's Budapest-Bamako rally. It's apparently the largest amateur rally in the world. And it starts from Budapest. It does not end in Bamako. It ends this year in Banyul. It's like it's happening for, I think, 12th time. So in the beginning it was going to Bamako. So the rally is called Budapest-Bamako, but it does not end every year in Bamako. For this year it ends in Banyul. And the organizers of the rally, they say that this year's route is going to be the best so far. Yeah, and we are going with Tesla, electric car.
Yes,
The first Tesla ever to cross the Sahara?
at least as we have been able to find out. So we haven't been able to find out that anybody else did it. So we assume that we are the first one. Because there is some slight infrastructure in Morocco. Okay, through the Spain from Budapest to Almeria. Almeria is probably going to be the port, port when we are going to take the ferry to Nador. This is now the plan. After Nador in Morocco, at least there is a relatively good electricity somewhere. So you're going to be able to charge somewhere when there is some kind of factory, when there is, I don't know, decent restaurant with 3 phases electric current. But when we going southern in Morocco, it is going to be a problem. South of Agadir is already pretty much deserted, and usually what we have seen and what we have heard, there are many places which are basically don't having electric grid, so they are either using some kind of solar panels or some kind of power generator, but mostly it's very, let's say, power shortage. So that is going to be the beginning of the real challenge. I mean, even in Morocco is a challenge because there is no chargers, so you need to find out where to plug yourself in. And down there, when we cross border with Mauritania, we have like 3 or 4 days, depending how you count in Mauritania.
In complete desert, without any infrastructure, electrical or otherwise.
Okay. So out of 130 cars, we are the only crazy guys with electric cars. So it is even challenging for the classic 2-wheel drive. It's really challenging. For the 4-wheel drive, it's a bit challenging. For electric car, it's impossible.
But it is challenging for completely different reasons than for the normal car. Normal car, it's challenging because of the terrain and the mechanical problems and everything. But for us, it is a challenge because of the power.
Yeah.
We don't know how to get the power to move our car forward.
But also the problem is that most of the cars that are going to rally, usually people, how do they do it? They are buying the cars from end of 80s, beginning of 90s. They are stripping them down, fixing them, and those kind of cars are able to be fixed anywhere, especially in Africa. So everybody can fix it with some tools. But our car, if something breaks down, the closest service center is probably somewhere in Spain. So we need to be very careful about the car.
Yeah, so I've been in a Tesla. I've not driven one, but I've been on the Nikola Tesla rally here in Croatia, a great event. And one of the things I always see the drivers looking at is the dashboard, which is amazing with all the information. And it's where is the nearest charging station, and you have, and you're an expert at this, I've seen on Facebook.
Sasha made a great Excel file,
okay,
you know, with lots of information and incredibly well calculated and adjusted the calculations of the power levels of the car in this place or that place, or how we're going to feel with this power or that power.
So regardless of how strong the electric outlet is, how many time we take for the charging and how many kilometers we can do. But there is going to be a lot of things which I have learned in the past, because I passed more than 150,000 kilometers with electric cars so far. So I'm a bit experienced with it. So
if I can interrupt you, 150,000 kilometers of in an electric car is fantastic from Zagreb to London, from Zagreb to Norway, from Zagreb to Split. We're talking about the Sahara Desert. You've got 6,448 kilometers from Budapest to Bamako.
More than that, I think it's like 8,500 kilometers.
Okay,
Is the total length of the rally.
Because we are not going to Bamako, we are going to this year.
Banjul,
yeah.
Banjul, is it Banjul or Banjul? You probably know better than us.
I will speak to my cameraman who seems to be an expert about everything. Silence. But the Sahara Desert is, I mean, how much is that of that trip is the Sahara? 1,000 kilometers?
Which
more
already,
than that.
more. Already southern Morocco.
3 or 4,000 kilometers.
I think under Agadir, like maybe 100 kilometers, 200 kilometers already start basically Sahara Desert.
Okay, so
Yeah, under Agadir.
Yeah, exactly.
okay, so Croatia, which is a wonderful, beautiful country, which has great potential for Tesla and everything else, and infrastructure is being put in.
Right.
It's possible to travel around this wonderful country with a Tesla. Okay. My limited experience is you can get 400, 450 kilometers from a tank of fuel.
Yeah.
You're going through the Sahara with more than 1,000.
We are going to carry a generator, an electrical generator.
This is great news.
Yeah,
to produce our own electricity, our own energy.
Yeah, the idea is like this. So we are going to use as much as we can the power from the grid anywhere possible. In my past trips, I used to charge in meat factories, in some kind of garage in the middle of nowhere. So any kind of power, even from the trafo station. So
police stations.
Police stations, whatever. So when there is a power, we're going to use it somehow. The question is only how long are we going to need to fill the battery. So it can be overnight, it can be one whole day. So sometimes we are maybe going to be a bit behind and we are going to catch up. The longest day and the longest distance per day is more than 600 kilometers one day, and that is going to be the big problem. But as Oleg said, there is a backup power generator we would have. And mostly I think we are going to use it probably in Mauritania, because in Mauritania the security and I mean, to cut the story short, it's not wise to stay at the middle of the road by night in Mauritania. So we are trying to avoid it all costs, not to be stuck on the middle of the road at night.
Mauritania, or also in Western Sahara.
Yes.
Probably even in Senegal.
Yeah.
You know, well,
but Mauritania, I think, is the worst.
We are both very experienced travelers.
Okay.
He's very experienced as Tesla driver and traveler, and I've been around the world, so we are going to solve any problem.
I fully respect both of your travels, and I admire your enterprise. So I'm just trying to, in my head, get through the idea of a car with a range of 450 kilometers, a generator, 2 Croats in the middle of the desert. What's your plan for fire up the generator? But how long is that going to take?
Wow, hey, it's going to take a lot. But anyway, you need to sleep every second day at least. Sometime. So while we are going to sleep, we are going to somehow fill it. And also there is like 400 kilometers, as you said. But if you are experienced, if you know how to use the power, of course.
Which you do, because
yes,
you've had lots of
we're going to hypermile a lot, which basically means that, I mean, roads in Africa are already not allowing you to drive like more than probably, okay, maybe in some distances 80, 90. So we are going to probably drive closer to 40, 50, and with very, very light leg on the gas pedal. Then, of course, there would not be much air condition and ventilation and stuff like this. So it's going to be like really going to the max. So we're going to really push it as much. And this day, when there is a 600, of course, we are going to start early. We are going to go as far as we can, and then we are going to fill a bit more, like 200 kilometers. So depending what kind of the power we are going to be able to find, it can be like 2 hours, or it can, or like 3 hours, or it can be like 8 hours. So probably some of the days we are not going to sleep at all. And the second thing is there are some other tricks. For example, if we find a nice strong vehicle that can pull us, we can also charge the generator by pulling us.
By being pulled. Yeah. We are also going to push the car and,
yes,
and charge the car by pushing.
And when we cross Atlas, there is also downhill.
Yes, exactly.
And the wind.
And so, apart from spending quite a few days together in the car, what else are your concerns about this trip?
Our concerns about this trip, well, you can never know the concerns about the trip of this kind until you try it. You know, it goes like this. The other concerns are, I don't know. There are medical concerns also.
I think that's
because
I'm mostly concerned about administrative stuff. You know how it is in Africa,
the borders,
the passports, and then electric car. And when
visas.
they figure out what they need, they would ask for some kind of I don't know figure like how many cubic centimeter or millimeter your agent has. We don't have it. So then I don't have it, and then he can't probably fill some paperwork. So that is going to be the.
Sounds like Croatia.
I think it can be far worse.
Oh, these are the fighting words.
I think you are living in Croatia for too long, so that may be the problem.
It does sound like a bit like a Croatia, but you know, in Africa you can always solve it with a bribe.
That is going
As
to
you
be
know, so
petit cadeau.
Petit cadeau, exactly.
They said that the first you need to learn in French is like this is the small present, something like petit cadeau.
Cadeau,
Petit cadeau. And the other word is fish, like a paper with your administrative data and everything.
They said that we need to copy at least 50 or 60
fish.
pieces
Yeah,
of this
fish.
because everybody would ask you for this data.
Okay.
In hotel, every police officer, everybody. So.
So I mean, it's a really cool idea, and we can laugh about going through the Sahara and everything else, but it's actually a hugely wonderful promotion of Tesla and the potential of electric cars.
Mostly about electric cars, I would say.
And if you can actually make it, you have proved that electric cars can really conquer anywhere in the world, pretty much.
Yeah.
Can you say a few words about electric cars in Croatia, which is not the most developed country in Europe? How things have progressed in the last 5 years, how it's going in the next 5 years, and how you see the potential for Tesla cars moving forward?
I may say that last few years in Croatia we had we are now having more and more places when you can charge your car. I mean, the idea from the beginning is that you can charge electric car in any kind of socket, any kind of outlet with electricity you can find, depending. It's only you can be concerned about how long you need to charge your car. So depending what you need. But if you're traveling from Norway to Croatian coast, then probably you are not going to I don't know, wait 20 hours in some slow socket to fill your car. So you need to have the fast chargers on the motorways, which are not present in Croatia. That's the biggest problem. So Tesla for their cars already have nice infrastructure in Croatia. I think we have 6 Tesla superchargers, and we have, I think, more than 20 destination chargers in different hotels and restaurants around Croatia. And also we do have the 2 networks, which are like independent networks. One is Croatian Telecom, and second one is the Croatian Electro.
So our main sponsor, the RWE electrical company, energy company,
They
is
do have
a
their,
big
some of
promoter,
them,
big promoter of the
sustainable energy, and RWE they do have also some of the chargers by themselves. So we may say that it is increasing and it will going to be better and better through the years. But if you ask me, is it sufficient? No. And then there is other question: is it sufficient enough for the Croatian owners of the cars? Somebody may say there are not so many electric cars in Croatia, a few hundreds of them only, but we are tourist country. So there are many people coming with electric cars, mostly Teslas, from Norway, from even Sweden, from Netherlands, from Austria, from Germany, from Italy, from Slovenia, and we need to give them possibility to come to Hvar, to come to Dubrovnik, to come to Brač, to come to Split. And this is what we need to do, and I said it is going, but I'm not so satisfied with the pace of the progress.
And of course, Croatia is the birthplace of Nikola Tesla.
Exactly.
It's a huge thing, and so here we have the first
That would be great.
The first Croatian Tesla to cross the Sahara would be an amazing story.
That would be an amazing story, and we are hoping that you are going to break the story to the English-speaking readers.
I
would love to be in your car and do it live, but I'm.
At least we can
not
do
that crazy.
We can do one more on the start, and you are going to go. You are going to get a lot of materials from the trip anyway. So we are going to.
How confident are you you're going to make it to Banyul?
We have no idea, really, to be
What
honest.
do you think? Is it 50-50? I would think it's 70-40 that we are going to make it, but there is still 30% chances that we are going to be stuck somewhere. I mean, we prepared like even the shovels to dig out from the sand
and everything.
and you know those plates for
No, it's
putting
a
under
chemical.
the
Who's the
under
main shoveler, like you or him?
I'm going to be the shoveler. He's going to be the driver. I'm
he's
going to be
push.
shoveler and pusher. But
So we do have equipment and
people go to this rally with all sorts of very crazy cars. You know, like Trabants, Wartburgs, cars from Eastern Germany, or very old cars. You know, completely cheap or very bad cars.
But also very expensive four-wheel drive, specially designed for rally. So there are different categories.
The challenges for them are completely different than the challenges for us, because our main challenge is the energy, the electricity, the infrastructure.
And reliability of the car, because we have a lot of electronics inside.
Exactly.
So for example, you have seen the dashboard in Tesla. It will probably not work if you're not able to find a decent connection, internet connection. So we are not going to be able, because calculations you have seen in Tesla is very important. So we need to know how many batteries you have and how many kilometers to the next destination. So if the calculation is not correct, then you can stuck in the middle like 10 kilometers before the charging place, and then you are...
And this is something that even Tesla does not have experience with, because they
never
never tried it in such environment.
Are you speaking to Tesla about this?
Of course, no, they are pretty like, in my opinion, they are not so open to the events, especially Croatia is a small market and they are not focused on it. So I think it's more to promote electric e-mobility in general. So for us it's like a challenge, as you said, to show that you can do a very extreme trip, also trips with electric car.
The problem with Tesla is also that it's very heavy. It's 2.5 tons. Is it metric tons, or how do you say it in English for a normal European tons?
Heavy.
Heavy. Anyway, 2.5 tons, which is very heavy, because we have seen videos of very light cars being stuck in a desert in a very small amount of sand. You can get stuck with an 800 kilos car or 900 kilos car, but this is 2.5 tons.
And also
so
we don't have experience driving on the sand and sandy roads, because the traction is not so good and the consumption could be higher than we expected. So maybe we are going to do in our Croatian desert in Đurđevac. That's the idea, to go there to check.
23 meters you can do back and forth.
Maybe even 40 sometimes, depending how the wind is blowing.
Yeah, do not laugh at our own Croatian desert.
I've seen the camels and everything. It's amazing.
Now in video you have to put the picture of the Croatian desert.
No, how do you say it? It's your English imperial hubris. Is it the proper word?
If you like.
All right, so they think, oh, this is a laughable desert. This is a good desert because it's our Croatian desert.
When we ruled the
That's
world,
a very good desert. That's the best desert we have.
Best desert ever.
When we ruled the world, we had the best deserts.
All right.
A long time ago.
Obviously, when we have a Tesla, you put it in the charger. It's free. That's wonderful. This trip is going to be not particularly cheap.
Of course.
How are you financing? I assume you have sponsors.
Yeah, we have sponsors.
Do you want to talk about those?
Exactly, we are going to talk about sponsors. We have sponsors. We have a crowdfunding campaign that is still going on, but it's probably going to be over by the time this interview is going to be published.
Because he's useless. Get it live tonight. And you can,
All right. Our main sponsor is the energy company RWE, which is the electricity company in Croatia.
Gas and everything,
Our silver sponsors, we have a couple of silver sponsors. There is the Bosch, there is also IoT Net Adria, which are developing the Internet of Things, IoT, Internet of Things network in Croatia. We have also other sponsors, Algebra, Kroz. Now I'm getting into dangerous territory of probably forgetting somebody. Pivovara, Medvedgrad also.
I got a free beer tonight, so...
Pivovara and Pivnica Medvedgrad is also our sponsor.
Okay.
But you mentioned the
Soft Ride is our sponsor. Who else is our sponsor?
There is also Dradar, there is also MB, there is also Bug.
Exactly, Bug is our media partner.
Most of the money would come out of our pockets at the end of the day. Because the car and everything about the car, so altogether we need extra money, something like 100,000 kuna plus to retrieve the car back with the container from Banjul or from Dakar. We are still figuring it out, and that's the one of the biggest. And then what is also important, this humanitarian part of
I was going to ask about it, because it's a humanitarian rally. And
so what we're going to do, our sponsor from Čakovec, Tvrtka MAG, is going to give us the generator very strong generator, almost 10 kilowatt generator, and we are going to leave this generator in a village in Gambia. We are going to talk about it with sponsor, exactly the name of the village we would find out next week. But also there is a crowdfunding campaign which we also donating to make a well in one of the village. So we are going to give them also the water, and we are going to give them electric power for this village.
Now this village in Gambia is going to be very, very lucky village, because they are going to get the well from all the participants in the rally, and also a generator probably from us.
Yeah.
You know, so with the generator and with the water,
yeah.
they are going to be the best village in Gambia. And the next time we go to Gambia, we expect to be greeted like kings, you know, in that village.
So you need to take some Croatian football jerseys with you.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
we have a lot of
Definitely.
lot of small
Definitely.
presents
Yeah,
for the
Yeah.
people on the road.
And so then you start a Croatian community in Gambia and stuff based on that.
Right,
Yeah.
yes.
Maybe some diaspora to vote also from Gambia.
I
So
think,
when
yeah.
we have next,
Hard days there.
You know, there is a very,
Gambia.
very
we are waiting
interesting
for
story.
the results from Gambia on elections. Like 76 voters from Gambia changed.
The elections in Croatia, that is going to be interesting. But there is an interesting story about this place called Western Sahara that is, of course, now included in Morocco somehow. But Western Sahara was a Spanish colony.
Yeah.
And sometime, I think it was before the World War I, before the Great War, the Spanish lost the war against the United States. They lost the Philippines, they lost the Cuba,
Right.
and they put the Western Sahara, which was called then Rio de Oro, the golden river, by the Spanish. Spanish put it on sale, on international sale, and Austria-Hungary was the best bidder. They were offering good money for Rio de Oro to become the Austrian-Hungary colony. That would maybe
our colony.
maybe become the Croatian colony later on. But what happened? The Hungarian part of the Austria-Hungary vetoed the deal.
Okay.
Hungarians in their parliament, inside within the Austria-Hungary, Hungarians had the power of veto,
Yeah.
and they vetoed the deal for the reasons unknown to me. I don't know why, but they vetoed the deal and they said, no, we are not going to buy Rio de Oro. But it would be very interesting
Imagine.
because actually Austria-Hungary would have the colony in Africa that would maybe become the Croatian colony. You never
But then
know.
again, Gambia was the British colony.
Gambia was the British colony.
They have different electric socket, I have found out, so probably they also have your funny water pipe.
We have the best sockets.
Best sockets, yeah.
Best sockets. Again, the fighting words. It's going
You
to
go
be
no,
a brawl.
Okay,
you know.
let's be serious. Like colonies, the Brits were the best.
All right. I think the French were the better.
Seriously, why?
Yeah, because they
the
managed their
Germans had some
colonies.
colonies also.
They managed their colonies masterfully. You know, the French managed their colonies masterfully. They managed the whole Western Africa. Yeah, these are the. We are going to fight with the.
Seriously, like you know.
They,
I mean,
they
you
managed-
Brits had only Gambia down there. What?
They
I mean,
managed-
it's so
in
tiny.
general, like India, for example.
India is far away. We are not talking about
forget
Africa.
about India. We are
Okay.
going to Western Africa,
Let's-
which is a French part of the world.
It's a little place where your Tesla is going to get stuck
But
in the
guys, I
desert and
think
we'll never
we-
hear from you again.
Do you
Like,
have-
I'm talking about the British colonies of the world.
You as a Brit, you have some nice, like French dictionary to borrow us, because we are not speaking French, and I think we are
It's
going to need a
part
French
of-
down there.
it's
What do you
completely-
speak? You speak some Croatian.
We don't speak
You're-
English. We
you're-
speak
you're-
just Chris. You have
Some
seen.
Croatian, some English. We are going to manage with English in Gambia, but in French-speaking parts of the world, we are going to, I don't know, use the hands. But what I wanted to say, French managed.
We do have a map.
We have a map. Yes, Michelin
Open the
map.
map and show me Mauritius.
No, there is no Mauritius
I mean,
there.
if you want to go
no,
to Mauritius,
no Mauritius.
we can
This
organize.
is Western
but-
Africa. But what I wanted to say, the
Bro,
French.
it's even on the other side of the map, so we need to go from Nador is here.
Where's your last Tesla charging place?
Last here in España,
in
close
Spain.
to Almeria. So after this, nothing.
And,
then,
and then you've got 3,000 kilometers
Yes, then-
to get through. Yeah.
and then only Senegal,
But you see, you can very well see the Sahara on this map. It's
and
completely
then
empty.
here Banyul.
And then the road starts south of Sahara.
Yeah, in Sahara is nothing. 1 or 2 roads. That's it.
There's a reason why the roads are empty.
But there are always people in Sahara. They said at least.
But again, what I wanted to say, the French managed to administer the whole of West Africa with an incredibly small amount of bureaucratic personnel. It was like couple of hundred people managing the.
We will
this
have a lot of
incredibly
stories
huge area,
about the
you know.
past. But Oleg
But
will
there's
do
only
it.
about 2 people in the Sahara, so it's easy to administer. Look at India. Look at what the Brits did in India. 900 million people.
All right.
We bought
okay.
cricket, trains. We taught them how to make
and
curry.
Now what you have now is the Indian people beating you in cricket, right? Right. Indian team, national team.
We have to let them occasionally sort of, feel like on a level.
Right. Okay.
Political correctness is all about.
No. It's interesting. After like 20 minutes of talking and not even a full beer, we managed to pull his English colonial pride out of him.
I think, guys, it's pretty cool. We need to put this to an end.
We created
My
the world,
bladder is already
and then we just let
forcing
people do,
me.
and then we support them.
And then you are in kratki rukavi, freezing in the middle of
And
winter.
this is beautiful Zagreb, Advent in
Almost
Zagreb,
raining.
top destination in Europe. Number 1 Lonely Planet. It's December. It's t-shirt weather,
For him.
and I'm doing my best. And thank you, Oleg. Thank you, Sasha. I probably will never see you again, but
Maybe you would on a video with some guy with a beer behind us.
yes.
Cheers.